Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teacher Stories. On Teacher Stories, real people tell real stories about their journeys, their passion, and challenges in education. You don't necessarily have to be a teacher, though, to tell these stories. As long as you are connected to education in your country, in any part of the world, we just want to celebrate all the efforts that educators put in to make things right in the education system. My name is Ibiere Brown, and I am your host on Teacher Stories. Have you registered for the conference? On today's stories, we have the convener for Teachers International Benebu. Ms. Chisom Ibenebu is a proud graduate of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka with a BSc in Health Education and a Master's in School Health Education. In 2015, she volunteered with SOAS International under the Volunteer Teacher Network, reaching underserved rural communities with hope and learning. For over a decade, she served faithfully Hello, Miss Chisom. Did you hear me? I think we have a little glitch.
Okay, you were not on the call. Now I can hear you
Oh,
now.
okay.
You were logged out of the call. I even
Okay.
had to change the way to be logged out.
Okay. I was reading out your profile. I think I have to do that again. Um Okay, Miss Chisom Ebenebu is a proud graduate of the University of Nigeria in Nsukka with a BSc in Health Education and a Master's in School Health Education. In 2015, she volunteered with SOAS International under the Volunteer Teachers Network, reaching underserved rural communities with hope and learning. For over a decade, she served faithfully, growing through the ranks, and in 2020, she was appointed director of the Teachers Network, leading a vibrant team of over 158 volunteer educators across Nigeria. Under her leadership, They established a mission school for the Baza people in Nasarawa State with the support of the Australian Embassy, and strengthened another school in the riverine region of Ondo State. Their interventions reached mountain communities in Adamawa, the Nupe tribe near Kwara State, Lekki in Bauchi, and Niger State, equipping children with literacy, hygiene education, and life skills. In Enugu, they trained mission focused teachers to serve with passion and impact. She also pioneered the Cave of Adulam, a transformative holiday camp that has touched the lives of over 900 children from across Nigeria's rural communities. During her tenure, VTN was awarded Best Department three times, and she was honored as Best Departmental Head in each of those years. She formally handed over her role in 2024, making a new chapter. In 2023, she founded Lily Sawyer Child Care Foundation, an NGO that has impacted over 500 children and 250 parents through outreach and skill building programs. Today, she leads a growing community of 1,400 teachers, providing monthly training and hosting the Teachers International Conference, now reaching educators across 15 countries. She ends her profile by making a statement: her journey is far from over because every child deserves a chance to thrive. Everyone meet Miss Chisom. Miss Chisom, you're welcome to the show.
You're welcome, Ma. You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much for joining me on Teacher Stories. I remember the first time I mentioned it to you, you were super excited. I could feel your excitement. Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
start by asking. Usually, when children go to the university, they want to study engineering, medicine. So what drew you to studying health education?
Okay, I think what drew me to study education, health education, was not necessarily because I wanted to work with it. It was because I wanted to change to medicine. So that was the after applying first year, I applied for medical radiography, and I didn't get it that year. The next year, I was like, I want to enter university, so I need a change of, when you enter now, you buy change of
Yes,
course form. So we needed to come
yes.
down lower. But my school is quite competitive, that is UNN. So it's like a very brisk school that if you apply for that course, you have about 1,000 persons that is also applying for the course. So we need a course that we can easily change to my desired course. And that's why I applied for public health education, because it's still within the field of medicine. And I'm here,
So not like
graduate.
you wanted to teach in the first place.
Not like I actually started out on to teach.
Have
So
you ever
that was,
taught before?
yeah, it's only in the mission field. I'm a bush teacher, so let's leave it like that. Yeah, I call myself a bush teacher, so I taught really in the mission field. So mostly when we have outreaches, we have 1 month camp meetings, just like we started the school. So definitely, but majorly, I've not really been in the classroom. I'm more of in the administrative side of the classroom.
But all your work is around education.
Everything is around education.
Okay, so let's talk about volunteering for SOAS International. What's that like? Your challenges, working in rural areas and all. Can you give us a story of how it started, how it's been going, and what challenges you faced during that time?
Okay, so for me, actually, one thing that drew me to volunteer for, I would say, okay, let me start by saying this, that I actually didn't like teaching, not because I don't like teaching, but because I came from a house of teachers. So you know how your grandmother is a teacher, your mother is a teacher. Not really, she's not like she wanted to have a school then, but things didn't go as planned. All my mom's sisters are teachers and the rest like that. So I see what they do and I'm like, this is not what I remember getting admission to study health education. That's when I was not best. My mom was like, are you serious? You want to go to the teaching field? Something like that. So for me, I didn't fancy it growing up. That's why I had good, pretty teacher, but I didn't want to be a teacher. But we plan and God has his own plan. So when I got into school, I
Exactly.
just had this passion to preach the gospel. So it was the gospel, that was the drive to just preach the gospel. I joined several. mission organization, but none of them struck the chord to SOAS. I remember our first outreach, like yesterday in Kogi State. Nobody knew I had passion for teaching. Nobody even know anything. I have passion for children or anything like that. I was a first year student for crying out loud. So we went for this outreach and they posted us to a house to house evangelism. Jesus sent them two by two. And while I was in that place with my team that was posted to a particular place, then I can never forget that experience. It lives rent free in my head. There was this child, you know how rural community are, with poo poo all over the body, crying from the nose, muddy, and just saw me. It's that poo poo that turned me off because that place, one of the major challenges of that place was water. So it's 1 hour trek to go and get water, and it's 1 hour back. So the brothers goes to fetch the water, bath there, and bring
Oh,
the remaining one. And that water we are cooking from it, and we are also going to bathe. So when they give us water, they just give us scoops of water, not like go and bar. When you leave the field, you can now bar very well. But now you have to endure. So when I saw the child, the first thing was to run. Not because I don't love the child, but because when I thought of the water situation, that if I carry this child and go back home, I won't be able to bath the way I want and everything like that. And the child was just running towards me, and I didn't know when I just opened my hands and grabbed the child with love, with the poo poo, with the cry, with the kata, with everything. As I carried the child, started playing with it, before you
wow.
know, as if God just started bringing other children from different locations, and everybody just started acting, we started jumping, playing, and preaching the gospel. And trust me, this is 10 years now. I don't think coming to the mission field, I've hardly ministered to any adults, only children. That was the
Children.
beginning of my love for children. Before it wasn't that evident, but that event still lived there. That was where the journey started. As once I even come to do any other thing, they'll be like, you children are here, just go and attend to them and the rest like that. So that was my journey to it. And having worked with children with the rural community, it has been an amazing thing just to give a child
Yes.
an opportunity to thrive. I've worked with several children. There was one that amazed me during our Kevadula meeting. The
Mm-hmm.
lady is 13 years. She came for our meeting and saw us as we were behaving. The camp is like a boot camp, lasts for 10 days. And when she went back, they wanted to marry her off.
Wow.
And she stood her ground that she's not going to get married, that she wants to be like Auntie Chisom. The next year,
Mm.
you need to see the fight for her. She stood her ground. She went through a lot. Like she went through a lot. So we've had girls gone to community, have girls 12 years, 10 years, 11 years forced into marriage. And we've had to tell them, talk about education, start education, and having to give them something to actually live for. If not, this is beyond money. Imagine a girl, a young child, 10 years in Adamawa State, looking up to you and say, so there can be more to life than this
Yes.
place. So having to give them what to look up to actually is the game changer for me. So that has been the passion. Yeah, there's challenges. So there's challenges for it to be in the missions. There's a lot of challenges, but one thing that keeps me going is just the ability to bring love, the ability to bring purpose, giving a child somewhere something to live for beyond what he or she says. So I think that's for it.
The ability to give love, to bring purpose, that's just the basis for education. So whether you had the desire to teach or you didn't have any desire, in fact, for the fact that it even runs in your family, it's in you. It's in you. I had to go through your page on LinkedIn and I saw a picture. I think that was you with some children.
Yeah.
You do you know that? Yes, where's that?
That is
What
in
parts of Nigeria is
Iyanekoyi
that?
in Osun State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so about the Cave of Adulam, what inspiration is behind the initiative? Because I read your profile, you said you pioneered it. And then what kind of long-term impact do you believe it would have on the children who participated?
Okay. The Cave of Adulam was bettered as a result of, yeah, in prayers, but the vision was to run with the fact that most missionaries struggle on field. And why they struggle is I give an analogy to them even while we come to the field, that if there are 100 persons that gave their lives to Christ and 50 children, 50 adults, come back 2 years later, the number of children that will still be coming to church would be 30. The number of
Okay.
adults that might still be coming to church would be 5.
Exactly.
And why? Because adult doesn't have that patience to go through discipleship, to go through once a little thing happen, they are off it. But a child, once you are sharing biscuit every Sunday, they are down for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Biscuit, sweets, and hookah for them. They would come every day. I remember there was a field we went to, and it was a pure Muslim community, and all we were sharing was biscuit and sweets. So no matter how the imam tell them don't come around us, they would come because of the biscuit and sweets. So what you just need to have is the hookah for them. So because of that, I've monitored the field over time. I've realized that children actually stay more than adults. That's why they don't know what they are doing. And so the adults will be like, he doesn't know, and just leave them, and not knowing that they actually know, because children,
Yeah.
what they hear is actually what goes a long way for them. What they hear, what they see is actually going a long way for them. So I said, okay, why don't we train these children to actually help the missionary on field,
Okay.
so that the missionary is not burdened with the ability to preach, the ability to pray, the ability to heal, the ability to disciple, the ability to do everything. Children can also do the same thing, can go out for evangelism, can do every other thing. And so we designed a program for children that covers both kidpreneurship, sports, to bring them together, and also prayers and Bible studies and discipleship and the rest like that. But one major thing we know is that most of these children are from rural communities and they've never been to the city before.
Okay.
So bringing them out is a whole experience for them. Like, it's a whole experience. They are like, if not because of anything, it's because of the fact that we came out. I remember having 70 as a pilot study for the first camp, and the next day we had over 1,000 registered
Wow.
children. Why? Because
Wow.
they just saw the fact that they are eating Indomie for the first time in their life. Morning tuwo, afternoon tuwo, night tuwo, morning tuwo, afternoon amala, night iyo, and now you are here giving them bread and egg. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
this is the first time they had experience like that, sleeping on the bed. All their life they slept
Wow.
on the mat. So
Okay. So
having to just
basically,
rest alone was an
it's more of
experience.
it's more of a missionary outreach
Yes,
that you
it's more of a
do.
missionary outreach, yes.
Okay. So,
So
but do you teach these children to read, to write? Do you teach them to
yes,
read
we
and
do
write?
teach them how to read and write. We have situation that we teach them how to read, how to write, how to, the fact of
Awesome.
giving them that experience.
Okay.
You understand? Having that
Yeah.
experience of seeing some certain things is
Mm.
actually
Okay.
is.
Okay. So, Miss Chisom, you founded the Lily Sawyer Child Care Foundation. Tell us about
Yeah.
it. What's the driving force behind establishing your own NGO and the specific
Okay.
gaps you plan to support children through your NGO?
Okay, so what made me to start something Lily Soya is just the fact that, working with SOAS, they're a mission organization, so
Okay.
there are lines that cannot be crossed. Do you get? We have lines that cannot be crossed, and this has made our impact limited. Do you
Okay.
understand? There are lines that cannot be crossed, and it has made our impact limited. So within myself, I say, let's come out from the Christian space and have something that naturally embraces everybody, but and actually make the impact. So that's one thing Lily Soya runs on. We wanted to step a little bit out from that Christian space, despite I am for the gospel anytime, any day. But I know
Yes.
that if we are able to bring more people that
Mhm.
does not have that religious affiliation, would
Okay.
push the impact a little bit more. and a little bit better, that we have more people. Like when I mean more people, I mean more people come to the work, passionate people that are ready for the work. So that was one thing that bettered the Lily vision. Initially, it was targeted towards children, and it's still targeted towards children. But looking at this, they say, okay, health education, kidpreneurship, training them on financial literacy. We have our business school where we train children to become CEOs. They pitch to real investors and we help them set up their business and a whole lot of like that. So we say, okay, if we do this and we do this, we have two major factors, which is their parents and their teachers. That is actually two major factors that control of their life. That's why we set out to train the parents and we also set out to train the children. Initially, because I am a bushwoman, I didn't have the normal school environment. Like I've always taught in mission field. So our curriculum is always different. I have to draft curriculum, I have to draft nomadic curriculum to
Oh
specifically for the
wow.
children. Sometimes it's not like what you can literally know that first term you have to do this, second term you have to do this, third term you have to do this. But for me, I've drafted crash curriculum that, but it's not the same thing what you obtain in this sector. So I had to reach out to people, call for volunteers to help me achieve this is what I want to achieve. And yeah, it is. We've got 2 years. At first it wasn't easy, but no journey is easy, but we are still going because the vision of especially the train the teachers is to have a global community of teachers whereby we all
Okay, so
learn from each other and grow.
okay, I was going to come to that because I'm trying
Uh,
to connect the mission for Lily Soya to reach out to more children, and then the teachers conference. How did you come about that? Why the connect? Initially, you said, or you've been saying you are a bush teacher. I'm even finding it difficult to call you that, but you've been doing an amazing work for you to even come up with the curriculum, and you say you're not a teacher. That's you're doing way more than what some teachers would do, and I will give you the kudos. We give you your flowers. This is why we are here on Teacher Story. So tell us how you got to the point of wanting to do the conference for teachers, because this conference is about teachers, not about the children now.
yeah.
So tell us, how did you come to the point where, okay, because this is like the 3.0 of Teachers
Yes.
International Conference. Okay, so how do you get to the point of starting the conference for teachers, please?
Okay, so I would say, in my experience as the director of the Volunteer Teachers Network, I had volunteers that are just passionate, just like me, that are passionate about the work, but they didn't study education. So when we come to the field, we you could clearly see the gap. That one you cannot even shove it off. You could clearly see the gap. You could see someone that studied an early child education and someone that studied biology, even though he have passion for teaching. So there was the gap. So for me, what I did for my team was to actually train my team for 8 months, back to back training. And by the time we came out of that training, it was an amazing work. So now replaying it to the Teachers International Conference,
Mm,
I've always, because of working in the rural setting, I've had this push for education. That's one thing that made me to go to do a lot and a lot of research when it comes to education, because I couldn't place a point of what is wrong with Nigerian educational system. I just got disgusted with everything. And because we have a lot of out of school children. That was one thing that drew my attention to start doing a lot of study. A lot of out of school children. We have a lot of children that are not going to school, and you come to this place and are telling me that they have a son in the federal constituency. And they are wondering, look at your children, people are not going to school. So I started doing a lot of research on the architectural system of education, and I realized that more teachers can be more. Everybody blame the teachers, school administrator the teachers, this the teachers, that the teachers, and all of a sudden I said, okay, can we contribute and train more teachers that would not just have the classroom training but would be more, be effective, and have more vision and purpose. That's the reason why I started out as a global platform because I feel if Ghana should learn from should we should see Ghana system, learn from Ghana system, see US system, learn from US system, see the UK system, learn the UK, learn from this one system. I just believe if we have that global network, we can be able to implement it, and the job alone is not for just the Ministry of Education. It flows down and it trickles down. That was one thing that made me to start the Teachers National the Train the Teachers campaign. So it was a Train the Teachers campaign. If you see the name, it starts with Train the Teachers campaign. So it's more of like a campaign that more teachers be trained. So we started with our monthly trainings that we have, the monthly training. The truth is my first training, nobody came. My second training, nobody came. My third training, nobody came. So I'm saying, when people start training, and they're like, we want the whole world to come. The first one, nobody was on the call. I just like, it got a point. I printed letters to start going to schools to train their teachers. And it doesn't come. I know this is just that aspect. It was like, I was like, I know this vision is in my heart. I have this passion, but how do I go about it? And I started seeking wisdom and God helping me, God's people that are also teachers inclined, like I want to remember her name. She's a lecturer in one university. She came in and said, "Man, the truth is I don't have experience in education, so you handle that aspect." And she came in and did a fantastic work. I met people like Mrs. Okenfu on Instagram. She was one that mentored me. She hears these things. Actually, like she mentored me. She was like, "How will you say nobody is coming to your training? Give me the link. Let me do this." So that's what gift I had, the gift of men. Not like Professor Thelma, like people that actually believed in me, because got to a point. The first time I wanted to do Teachers National Conference, I trust you me. I sat a week to the conference, nobody has registered. Do you get? So I had speakers, I had up to 7 speakers. In fact, the way we plan the conference is like we want every speaker from each continent. We didn't want to cluster with Nigeria. So we had Nigeria, we had UK, we had
Yeah.
US, we have England, and we had 7 speakers. The first flyer from Germany, and 1 week to the conference, nobody came. So I had to send them, I'm sorry, ma. It's like this thing. So it was in the process of sending, I'm sorry, Miss Okefu said, how a conference like this and nobody came. What's your strategy? Let's look at it again. And we sat down with the strategy and everything, and she said, give me the link. And with the link, we had the conference with 300 teachers.
Wow.
So imagine
That's
having that
that's
kind of person beside you. It was through that process that people like Missy Fedayo,
mm.
they, wow, this conference is what, that's how they helped me build. So like I started out all perfect, but I had help. The speakers have actually been help. They've been amazing and they've helped me all through the journey. So I give their flowers to them.
And 3.0 and 3.0 we have over 1,000 teachers
A
registered
thousand
already.
registration.
That's
Let me without say it on because we are live. We only ran sponsor that once or twice, and the sponsor that didn't even bring
wow.
that sponsor that is very tricky. He didn't even bring the real thing that we're looking for. So it was purely organic, and
Oh,
thank you.
that's beautiful.
Yes.
That's really beautiful. So what are your plans? What is the lineup for the conference? Speakers, what do teachers stand to benefit? So this is you talking about the conference now. So let's talk about it.
Teachers International Conference. I know it's a dream that would get to live in, and one of the vision that has burned in my heart, especially for this conference, because of this our first physical conference. We want to just replay it for Nigeria, even that as much as we are bringing speakers from outside, but the focus or the lineup of the mobilization was towards Nigeria. That's why we had registration from Tunisia, we have registration from Ghana, we have registration from Japan, we have registration from
Wow.
US, from UK, and from all over the globe that are going to join us, from Mozambique and the rest like that, Rwanda, Kenya, and the rest like that. But my focus was to we streamlined it a little bit towards the Nigerian community or towards the Nigerian towards the Nigerian space. Why? Because this year, trust me, one of my hearts is that we are going to break down the walls. There is a lot of boundaries. In fact, when I got the topic, I've been trying to write the team exposition. I have not written it because the more I'm writing, the more burdens have been placed in my heart, because there are a lot of boundaries that has held teachers down for so long. So we are going to break it. We are going to chatter it. We are going to scatter it. We are going to push through. What we expect for this conference is that from this conference, new visions beyond
Okay.
what the speakers are going to say. One thing that I've known for Teachers National Conference, and I can tell you that free, is that teachers don't end up using their notes. They'll say, what do you do to me? I said, no, because we need to talk about the real issue. So they will come with slides all prepared, and they are talking about the real issues. So one thing I know for this conference is that there's going to be vision bettered, because Nigerian educational system has come to a point whereby we need more visionary people. We need more edupreneurs. Take it
Okay.
for free. More entrepreneurs, more people that are going to look beyond the boundaries. It's not only by starting school, in quotes, but having to create educational learning pattern that would help the children learn better. So from this conference, any teacher that is coming on this conference should be rest assured that you will catch vision. Whether you don't want
Mm.
to catch it or you want to catch it, just know that you are going to catch vision. You are going back with your mindset thinking that there is no limitation. Give us the world, give us the globe. We are going to achieve. So that's one thing you should expect. So whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you are part of it, it will just happen. The idea will spring up. You begin to see things like the last LES conference. I saw something. I was so amazed. The lady that came the last section, I know most Nigerian teachers logged up at that point, talked about forest education, teaching with forest.
Okay.
If you were to class, and when I saw it, I was like, you might not understand it because you are already used to the ABCD, but we on the field, that all what we have is bushes and
Mhm.
trees. We can easily bring that form of education to the while I was watching. I was My mission director was beside me while we were watching that. We're like, wow, this is for VTA. So some people, you might not get it like that, but you just see some things that you just feel like looking within your community. I can do this, I can do that, I can do that. And don't look at the money as the resources, the all the excuse that we used to give would be broken. It will push beyond, and you begin to get new visions, new passion. So that's one thing you should expect as a teacher. There's
Okay.
going to be an amazing section. There's going to be financial talks. We have an expert on it. You can just go on Google and type Salvation Alibo. Someone that started 17 company is the best
Wow.
person to talk about
Mm.
finances. 17 startup. When I mean startup, I mean startup from scratch. You can check him on LinkedIn. You can check him on YouTube, and he's going to be with us live to talk about
Wow.
finance. Starts finances from nothing. He can tell you for free how to start from just selling two oranges and build a multi-dollar business. So that's how strategic he is. So when it comes to teacher, I have to beg my say, sir, come and tell how you used to do it. That you can be laughing now. And he can sell anything. He can get money, he can build business for anything. If you want him to build business from packing sheets, he can build business. You'll be looking at this, oh, it's packing sheet, but him, he has built a multi-dollar business from packing sheet. So I think about tell us how you're going to do it. We're going to be talking about the teacher, their self-care, their health. We're also going to talk about data and documentation, because I noticed that's where a lot of teachers lack, because they don't know how to work with data. And we are in a generation
Wow.
whereby data is money.
Yeah, I
We need
know.
games as data is money. So if we don't know how to keep data, if you don't know how to play data to your advantage, to document, to
Yeah.
keep process, we would end up being fumbled and a lot. We'll talk about assessment. We'll talk about revolutionizing education. We'll talk about Professor Thelma will still be with us again. That will talk about the learning. And every speaker has their own specialty. When we talk of Miss Clementia, you know that she has to do with health, health of the
Mhm.
classroom, mental health. Children needs to be well fed and the rest. When we talk of Professor Thelma, she will break down the teaching to the least point. When we talk of everybody has their specialty. So we are going to be looking at a round figure, and we're also going to be learning a skill. That's why the breakout section. The breakout section is different from panelist section. We're going to be learning a skill, classroom
Yeah.
design. We'll be learning how to use tech
Mhm.
tool. We'll be learning for school administrators, they have their own school administrative best practices. We'll also be learning um how a lot. We'll be learning tech tools, online opportunity, content creation, social media management, early childhood. It's just a whole variety. We didn't want to, and the conference is not just centralized on only online teaching. We want to capture the whole aspect of the educational system. There was someone that was supposed to be with us. That one, he speaks to government. It was like, I know he will still come next time. So we want to talk to our government. The Ministry of Education, you have to be here. The different education.
Yeah,
So we are going to be
I
having a
agree.
lot
Mm.
for the conference. Thank you.
Oh wow, that's so power packed. If you're just joining us, we are talking about the International Conference coming up in August. I think from the 4th, Miss Chisholm, from the
Yes,
4th to the 6th. What
of
date is
August.
it
4th to the 6th of August.
of August in Lagos? So if you haven't registered, the link is on the comment section. Please click and register. Miss Chisholm, talk about the virtual centers, please, for people who cannot be physically at the conference.
Okay, so there are still a lot of revolution that is coming in. We'll still make a formal announcement, but we've tried that virtual center. We have a lot of people complain that it doesn't work, so we are going to be using YouTube rather than the virtual center. So just watch. We wanted to replicate it in several places, but we noticed that there's been a lot of gaps working with school administrators. We need to study school administrators in Nigeria and working with them. So we didn't get that part. So we now said, okay, let us do YouTube. Everybody go and watch it on YouTube. So you can decide if you want to watch, if you are hungry for education, you can, so it will be available on our YouTube channel. All the trainings will be available on our YouTube channel. So you can follow us on our YouTube. Thank you.
On YouTube channel. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Michi. So I know that you have a lot happening around you. And I'm
Yeah.
super excited about this conference. I don't know what spurred me on. Immediately I saw it, I was like, oh, I'd like to attend, even though I'm far away from Lagos. But I do hope that I will attend the conference. Okay, so like I said, if you haven't registered yet, please register and try. I think there are arrangements rather.
Yes, yes,
It's
it's
just there's some
accommodation.
accommodation arrange. Is it filled? Is it filled? Any more spaces? Do we have more
And there's still
spaces?
space, so you can still
Or is
register. Yes, there's
okay?
still
And
space.
it's
You
very
can.
cheap. And it's very cheap. Accommodation is cheap. So anyone who is interested in staying in the accommodation that has been made available for us, and you are not based in Lagos, please try and attend the conference. Okay, so one last question, Ms. Chisom. When you sent me your profile, you had this last statement: "My journey is far from over because every child deserves a chance to try." What does that statement mean to you, please?
That has been my mantra statement that every child deserve an opportunity. Truly, the difference between one child and another child is actually opportunity. So we have opportunity that was placed to you that made you who you are. There are opportunity that was placed to me that made me
Okay.
who I am. So once there is an
Yeah.
opportunity to that is given, so it's not left for let's give more opportunities and see if the child will not turn out better. So we should not first point the finger and say, oh, this child is not this when there's not an opportunity. So the focus of having me or what I run with is give them opportunities. So once you give them opportunities, once you give them platform, once you show them something that is
Give
beyond,
everyone
and the
opportunity.
person now not succeed, we
Mhm.
know that that one is his fault. So let's give more opportunity. So for every child I meet, one thing I
Mm.
try to do is to give the child an opportunity to actually be better, to do
The
well.
opportunity.
And there is a child that is with
Yeah.
us. I remember the first time we got to his field. He's with us in Lagos currently. And there's a time we got to his field, and
Okay.
for the first time we taught, the guy didn't even, he got odo, everything zero. And other children, yes, they are from different locations. They were also doing well, catching up, but he didn't catch up at all. So it was more like, okay, let him go, call his parents, say, let him follow you and everything like that. And he came to Lagos.
Mm.
And trust me, someone that didn't catch up, that has spent all his life in this thing, spending 3 years with us in Lagos, you won't believe it's the same child. I'm serious. So I just feel that it is an opportunity. Like, you won't believe in the same class, person that tops his child, he doesn't even speak as if he has those assets. So I was now wondering what happened. Opportunity.
Mm.
So that's the difference between this person and that person. So we want to give more children the opportunity. We want to give them the platform. We want to give them a way and see if they won't do better. Because if we do that, of course, we'd have better outputs, better children, and better futures of tomorrow. Okay, ma.
The opportunity. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so. Yes, and don't say you're not a teacher. You are a teacher. You are a teacher. Much. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank
Like
you,
I've been
ma.
announcing, please. There's a Teachers International Conference coming up in August to attend. Thank you, Miss Chisom. It's good to have you here. Have a good night rest.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.